I'm absolutely soaked. Coach Simon here. If you're new to the channel, then welcome from a very windy North Devon. And if you're a regular visitor, hey look, really cool to have you back.
Back from my ride, and typically I got absolutely soaked, and now the sun's just come out. We are fast approaching the end of 2024. So in the last video, I talked about the 3 favourite and toughest rides I did this year. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 of the most popular educational videos I put out about training and nutrition. And I'm going to talk about where the channel is going in 2025. There's a lot to get through, so let's get into it. The most popular one with 107,000 views, which isn't bad for a small channel, was the video Why Cyclists Over 40 Struggle to Lose Weight. Now, this was a bit tongue-in-cheek in some places, and I think some people got the flavour of it wrong. What I was trying to get across in that video is that people need to understand the total calories of the food that they eat. And it's really easy to go and do a big ride and come back and overeat calories and food even when you think you're being good. So it's really just pinpointing that one fact out. Strength training for master cyclist and longevity was definitely quite popular, and I was really just helping people understand how to get back in the gym if you've had a fair bit of time off. My experience as a coach is, and it's something that I really get across to people that we coach here at Velo, is to make sure that when you start back into the gym, you work on strength endurance, because that's building a platform, a solid platform, to make sure that you can progress after that. Now, this is something that I got a fair bit of kickback from, maybe what's the best way to call it, pure gym focused people who think that we need to lift heavy straight off. That's not the case. And when you look at the science behind it, you can still gain strength by doing strength endurance work. You just need to be really focused on what you're doing. Take the repetitions to near to failure. So you want to keep a couple of reps in hand, and you'll gain strength quite happily that way. It's once you've been doing this for a while, that's when you need to progress. And I talk about that in that video too. And then the last video that I want to talk about, which got a lot of traction, was how to fuel longer rides. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I quite like to go long on my bike. I do a lot of solo 200s, back-to-back 100 days, and most of my events tend to be pretty long. So this video really kind of highlights my experience, some of the pitfalls that you can fall into and how to get yourself out of them, and also covers the amount of carbohydrate you need to be effective in the saddle for every hour that you're riding. This is something I think a lot of people really struggle with, so it's good to reiterate it again and again, because once you've got it into your mind that that's going to make you very effective on your bike, you'll never change it. Let's talk about some of the things I started and then decided to stop. The vlogcast or the podcast, that was just one stretch too far. Bear in mind, I do everything on the social media myself. I don't have anybody working in the background. I edit it and all that sort of stuff. And that will change over time. But I realized after doing the first series of the podcast, I was like, this is too much. I'm spending too much time doing content, and I love doing the videos, and I think I'm getting better at those. But with the podcast, just editing them took a lot longer than I originally thought it was going to, and it was detracting away from other things, and I didn't want to take any more time or put that more on my plate. Sometimes you look at things and think, this is a great thing to do, but right now I've got other things that are happening in the background, and I want to focus on those, and my cyclists and athletes that I coach always come first, which is why I stopped doing the podcast, because it was just pushing my time frame and consuming me so much that it was stressing me out. However, on that note, my last podcast I did with Rennie McGregor, all about blood glucose monitors, myths, and just why we don't need them, was the last podcast that I did. And I think there's some great content in there. She is so clever and so passionate. And we both agree that you don't need blood glucose monitors. It's just such a natural thing that happens to us. When you eat carbohydrates, your blood glucose goes up. It's normal. And when you fast between meals, it goes back down. This is something that she goes into at great depth. There's, again, a bit of feedback in the comments and a definite amount of kickback where people are adamant that we're wrong, we don't know what we're talking about. But to be honest, she knows exactly what she's talking about, and don't want to pee people off, but people arguing on that front have no idea what they're talking about. The channel hit over 10,000 subscribers, which kind of blew my mind a little bit, because this channel really was just to sort of document what I understood about how to train as a master cyclist and what we really should be focusing on with our nutrition to make us more effective and for better health span and longevity. And the thing is with this channel, I don't overproduce it. So a lot of the stuff I do on my mobile phone, in fact, this video is being filmed on my mobile phone. I've tried to get the audio better, but actually the audio here is pretty good. Although actually when I listened back to some of the videos that I've recorded, you'd hear some birds tweeting their lungs out earlier. I was like, oh, that's gonna pee me off later on when I edit it, but I'm not gonna go back and re-film those because I've said what I need to do, and that's the point of this. It's raw, it's honest, it's not overly produced. And I think a lot of people, when they start YouTube or try and keep it going, think it needs to be sexy, it needs to be over the top. 100%, it really doesn't. Anybody can have their own YouTube channel, they just need to start filming. One of the things I was gonna do was roast a couple of people that dropped in some, let's face it, very rude comments, and they don't know what they're talking about. Now, I thought about this on my ride today. I thought, well, it'd be quite funny to do that. But then I thought, actually, do you know what? Let's just not give them any bandwidth and let's just ignore these comments and move on. Because ultimately, what I'm trying to get across is positivity and getting people to really sort of dial into themselves and say, yeah, do you know what? At the age of 40, 50, 60, I can do more. I don't really want to be that kind of coach stroke YouTuber that slags people off. People can slag me off, but one thing I do, if people jump in with their opinions, is I will have a conversation with them. The minute they are rude or disrespect my understanding of what I'm talking about, they're out. So where is the channel going in 2025? I'm still going to do some really good educational content to keep you right with your training and your nutrition. Most of the videos that I do about my training and what I do in my everyday life seem to have a lot more traction. So I'm going to talk more about that, and I'm going to show you what I'm actually doing in my training in the gym and on the bike that helps me stay focused. Because I think, to be honest, if I show you that I put myself through the ringer, then you're going to be thinking, well, if he does it, I can do it too. And I'm going to do some more vlogging style videos about what I'm doing in my training in the gym and on the bike. So in January, I'm going to show you what my build is going into a 3-week training block in Calp, which I've booked for the latter part of January. I won't lie to you, I'm really looking forward to getting away at that time of year. I'm also going to continue my race videos, so I'm going to go back to the Inferno in France, and I'm also going to do one in the Dolomites. So the one in France is 3 days, and the one in the Dolomites is 4 days. I'm going to try and film that to show you how tough these events really are. And we've planned even more fun things on the bike, so there's a bunch of us going to Alpe d'Huez at the end of April, maybe middle of May, to go and crack up Alpe d'Huez and try and give our best shot, and we're aiming to get under 50 minutes. That's going to be brutally hard to do, but it should be fun to watch. Righty, let's wrap it up here. I'm really excited about what's going to be coming up ahead in 2025. It's been a bit of a ride. One thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is hit like and hit subscribe if you haven't already done so, because that helps grow the channel and helps put this channel in front of different people. I'm going to leave you with this. One thing's for sure is 54 isn't going to slow me down. I'm still focusing on trying to be the best I can be on a bike. And that means, yeah, I'm going to have to train hard. I'm going to have to eat well. I'm going to focus on more lifestyle changes to make me a more effective cyclist. I want to have a bit of fun outside of riding a bike, of course, but my focus is, do you know what, 54 is nothing, and a lot of people think that's game over. Oh, no, not for me. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing more. So stick with me, because I'm going to help you guys, if you want to really push it and keep yourselves active, to do just that. Let's just leave it there. In my next video, I'm going to talk about what I'm doing to progress my strength training and some of the really horrible training sessions I'm going to be doing to make sure that I am ready to get to Calp, to be able to ride those roads and really get the most out of them. Right, I'll see you then. Cheers.